I have the forms for you at the end of the presentation, so don't worry about it. Secondary financing is allowed, as I mentioned to you before, and on the flex product, home equity lines and closing seconds are okay, but not seller carrybacks. Again, we're going to go by the findings, but let's look at the mortgage delinquency, because this is actually pretty loose compared to FHA. If there's a delinquency, one or more mortgage rental delinquency of 60, 90, 120, or 150 days, then it's not eligible. So what does that mean backwards? That means I might be able to take a 30-day late. I may be able to have a borrower with a 30-day late. A short payoff related to a delinquent mortgage obligation within the last 7 years can be a problem. What does that mean? That means that, what? That means a short sale where they were late. They didn't say short sale where they were not late. Or participation in a restructure of the mortgage due to delinquency, such as a loan modification. That means, in English, if the lender voluntarily adjusted the mortgage, which is possible, happened to me on one of my properties, the bank called me up and said, hey, I'm going to drop your interest rate by 0.5%. And I said, okay, great, what do I have to do? And they said, just keep paying the mortgage. That was a joke. All right, so, anyway.
We got it.
Okay, thank you. I was going to have to tell Elvis jokes pretty soon. Okay, now expanded approval has a minimum credit score of 620. Okay, remember expanded approval is something's wrong, maybe you got some collection, but at least the credit score is still 620. Now bankruptcy or foreclosure, there are certain exceptions. A purchase transaction secured for previous foreclosure, the new mortgage has to have at least 10% down, secured by prime residence. Okay, it doesn't say investments allowed. So basically, the borrower, if they had a foreclosure in the past, they're subject to another overlay, another guideline overlay.
What's the time frame?
Yeah.
The time frame, I'll cover that when I show you the guidelines in a second. Asset requirements, borrower investment, prime residence, have to have 5% of the borrower's own funds. Okay. The seller contribution has a pretty nice limit. If you look right here, it's from 6% all the way up to 9%. Okay. So we know Fannie allows 6%, but if the borrower puts down a lot of down payment, you can actually get it to be as much as 9%. Investment property, the limit is 2%. Closing costs, which comes from the borrower's own fund or can be a gift from a nonprofit, an employer, a relative. If it is a loan, the new payment must be calculated in the debt ratio. You cannot take money from your credit cards, sorry, but it can be an equity line. And of course, no gifts are allowed on investment properties. Reserve requirements depends on the system. If it's 1 or 4 unit, there's no minimum. But if it's a second home, you need at least 2 months. And if it's an investment, you need at least 6 months reserves. Okay? Everyone know what reserves are? Extra money lying around. It can be in a 401k. Appraisal requirements.
Can you use IRA?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take 70% of the IRA. What does it say right here? Appraisal requirements. Everyone say it together. No appraisal required. How people have had deals fall apart, Sylvia, where because of appraisal issues. Yeah? Because air conditioning gets stolen, something like that happened. There's no appraisal. Fannie Mae doesn't want to own these properties. So, no appraisal is required. The negotiated sales price will be used. This is something that you guys will negotiate. You're going to negotiate the sales price, and that's going to be used as the value. The borrower can, because you have those borrowers that are like, oh, I don't know if this is a good deal. And you tell them, wait a minute, you're getting such an awesome financing. I would take that deal. But they don't believe you, right? Yeah. Anyone have those type of clients?
Too good to be true.
Not the too good to be true, but the ones where they're, oh, I have to check with my parents, my brother, my sister. I got to bring everybody to the house to look at the house, and I got to make sure it's a good deal. And my uncle, who bought a house 10 years ago, told me I should get an appraisal, even though it's not required. So you can get an appraisal, but it's not going to be used for the purposes of the transaction. Okay? So that's what that means. Okay, here's what I did. I did the comparison FHA. Homepath is 3%, FHA is 3.5%. Mortgage insurance is always required. Somebody asked me a question the other day. If I get an FHA loan with 25% down, is mortgage insurance still required?
No.
By putting 25% down on an FHA loan. Is mortgage insurance still required?
Well, if it's
Who
an
here
FHA,
thinks so?
it's an FHA, you need, there's gonna be a mortgage insurance.
Okay, very good,
50% down, it's still gonna be mortgage insurance.
very
You use
good,
FHA.
very good. All right, so that's the correct answer. If you get an FHA loan, no matter how much down payment you put, FHA is mortgage insurance. You're always gonna need it. Okay? So credit score, FHA, I put none. Okay? Did you know FHA has no credit score?
Yeah.
But all these lenders overlay the credit score, right? So what are we at now, Jeanette, on the banking side? 640? Yeah, 640. There might be a handful of lenders still out there that will do 620, 580, etc. But just so you know, there's none. Appraisal is not required, and on FHA, on the streamline refi is not required. This is depending on you, but I'll actually go into the guidelines in 1 second. I'll show you what it is. And then the minimum reserves are required. Debt ratio 57 on FHA, and on Homepath around 45 to 50 is what I've seen.
Time out.
Yes,
There's no credit score on FHA?
that's correct.
It's always been known to me that the minimum score is 61.
No.
Lender does that.
There's lenders requirement.
Yeah, lenders put that requirement on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Not FHA.
oh.
Yeah, an
Whoever
investor
you
might-
give your loan from.
An investor, for
So they're still
example,
gonna use the credit score then?
They in the lender will, yeah.
The lender will.
Themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
so an investor, a lender might actually hold a loan for 3 months before they sell it to Ginnie Mae, which buys it. So they might actually hold it on while the borrower's credit score gets better. Okay? These are some common questions about this program. Is there any manual underwriting? Okay? This happens a lot in FHA where it's like their credit's not reporting properly, but the ratios are really good. Can a real human being underwriter look at it? And the answer for Homepath is no. You gotta run through the system. How many people here like systems?
You can tweak it, right?
Depends. I have a scenario where the prior lender on this customer says that they're late, but her credit report doesn't show her as late, and she swears she's not late. It was a miss. So systems can be used either way.
What's the minimum reserve?
Minimum reserve, it depends on the DU finding. So you run through DU and it comes up with. And I'll show you the guidelines in a second. How do I find Fannie Mae owner properties? Fannie Mae owned properties actually. Look on homepath.com. When I submit a loan to EZ, what else do I need? You need the Fannie Mae Special Financing Addendum and a printout from Homepath showing the property is eligible for Homepath financing. What are the highlights again?
Freddie Mac.
What?
Freddie Mac is what? Homestead.
Homesteads.
Homestead, yeah.
Yeah,
Homestead.
we don't have that on the banking side though. So Fannie is Homepath. No mortgage insurance, no appraisal, goes by the system. Allows exception for certain types of modification. Remember, if the lender voluntarily modified the loan without a delinquency, then the borrower might be able to buy again. Don't care about the condition of property, there's no appraisal. And I'm gonna pass around these flyers because I'm just gonna give you, not only to give you lunch, but we also give you some free money.
How much?
1,200 bucks. So, this is actually, because I don't know if you guys are going to go to the website, but if you ever make an offer on a Fannie property and you mention that flyer, they will give you $1,200 extra commission. Okay, so it's a bank product. Again, it's sold behind the scenes to GMAC. So it's a speedy turn times. That means you can get a docs out in probably 15 days because there's no appraisal. And there's in-house underwriting, in-house delegated underwriting. Now, for easy reference, if you want to look for these materials, you're going to go to the website EZQualify.net/Homepath. The addendums that you need for your contract are on there, and the guidelines are also on there. And if you want to sign up for our niches, EZQualifybank.com.